This is the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast, episode 270.
I program my home computer.
We have a server crash, 404 error, page not found, links aren't working, system is crashing, system is crashing, system is crashing.
Your old HTML website, barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website, better than it was before. Better, stronger, faster. We have the technology. The technology.
Why, hello everybody. This is Adam Silver, the host of the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, upcoming events. Only one WordCamp next weekend. WordCamp Atlanta, May 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And it is a hop, skip, and a jump from me. And I'm going to see if I can make it. Can't drive. I need new tires in the car, but I might fly. Anyway, but my wife's out of town. We'll see. I'm going to really try to go. We'll see what happens. Yeah, so WordCamp Atlanta, only one camp, and this past weekend was like 6 camps, which was crazy, across the country, across the world, really. So if you are in the area of Atlanta and I'm there, come say hi. If I'm not there, I miss you, and I'm having massive FOMO. Okay, moving on. Segment 1 in the news. 2 things here. Henry Zhu launched a podcast. So Henry is he's been the primary maintainer of Babel for the past 2 years. And Babel, for those who don't know, is a JavaScript compiler used by Facebook, Netflix, Spotify, and millions of others. It's been downloaded 18 million times per month. It's a crazy, it's crazy big. He recently left his job at Adobe to work on Babel and open source full time. The new podcast is called Maintainers Anonymous. Sounds pretty cool. I'm going to take a listen to that as well. So check that out. Link in the show notes. And also in the news, WordPress 5.2 will add 13 new icons to the Dashicon library. That's right. There's a story over at WP Tavern that I saw that, so I want to share that with you as well. Kind of cool. Some new icons coming to Dashicon. All right. That's it for in the news. Yeah, segment 2 this week. We're doing a listener Q&A. It's been about 10 episodes, 10 weeks. So we have a whole bunch of questions this time. Starting with this one that came in from Nathaniel Flick. This was via Twitter. Do I use Query Monitor and or WP Control plugins? If so, how I use them to the best potential. Keep up the great work. Well, thanks, Nathaniel. Really appreciate the kind words. So honest answer. I am nothing but honest. I haven't used them, though I have now. I haven't used them until this question came in, but only in a very cursory way to see what it was all about. And I say that because most of its functionality is above my pay grade. Well, sort of. I mean, I do write my own paycheck, but it's a deep technical usage. For example, the one used specifically, Query Monitor. Query Monitor, by the way, is written by, what's his name? I have it right here. Want to find out right how it's called. Oh, here, John Blackburn. And I know of John. I use one of his other plugins all the time. I use his plugin. Go to his plugins page. Where'd it go? User switching, one of my favorites. Use it all the time, 100,000 installs. So Query Monitor is one of his others, 70,000 installs. And it is crazy cool what it can do. Again, I'm learning more about it all the time. But like I said, it's pretty high. It's a deep technical usage. And I'm not quite there yet, but I have an actual use case coming, I think, because just recently I was working with Alex, one of my developers, and we have a site that has a custom theme. We acquired the site, custom built. PHP 7 recently got upgraded on the server, and there's an Infusionsoft integration, and there's massive errors coming through on the staging. The live site's fine, staging having some problems. So this might be just-in-time learning for me to pick this up and figure this out, and I might get back to you on this one, Nathaniel. Sorry I don't have better information on that, on its best use case, best potential, but it's deep. It has a lot of things. It's pretty cool. I was like blown away, like what I could see as far as the query goes. And I know what the query is. It's pretty technical. So once I know more, I will share more. That's what I'm going to tell you for right now. But I got your tweet, and I really appreciate that. All right. This question came in from Shay. Categories, tags, and organizing content. Do you need all of these? Can we have too many of each? Well, standard WordPress answer. It depends. Categories, yes. I definitely say yes. You got to have categories. And right away, I always tell people, remove the default uncategorized category. I think that's just, it's a mistake to use that. It really doesn't help anybody to be uncategorized. You got to have some type of category. If you're talking about boots, have it be boots. If you're talking about cats, have it be cats. If it's cats and boots, sorry, I couldn't resist. All right. Tags, only if you really are trying to do super specific things, really helping people narrow the search down if they're looking at things on your website. It's the old in the Wikipedia in Codex. It used to give the example of cooking, baking, chocolate, desserts, brownies, nuts, all that kind of things. So you can actually use tags to help get super meta on that. Now, organizing content on this question, Shay. Now, there lies a great question, and I imagine you might be referring to the media library. So right now, as far as WordPress core standard install, it's not the greatest experience. Matter of fact, it's frustrating for many people, including myself. By default, you cannot organize the media library. Now, your images, when you upload images or PDFs, or content, do go into a directory structure on your site. It goes into by year and then month, 1 through 12. But you can't see that visually on the site, and you can't find things easily that way. And if you've forgotten, if you name things, it's not great. So I know that's a big time request from core for the developers to do that from the project itself. It might, if it's not already on the roadmap, it's gonna be soon. I think it is actually on the roadmap. I'm not sure what version, but it's coming, I'm sure. And by the way, I did use one of these. There's plugins out there that can help with this, and I used a plugin a long time ago. It wasn't very good, so I deleted it. Checking online based on this question. There are a bunch of new plugins I have yet to try, and I'm going to do that. For example, there was Filebird, Enhanced Media Library, WP Media Folder, Media Library Plus. That's just the first 4 that I found, and they all look really cool. So I'm going to dig into that as well to see if any of those make sense to use and add to your site. If it doesn't slow things down, how easy is it to manage, maintain, and customize? So great question. But categories, yes. Tags, maybe. And media library for organizing content. Definitely necessary. And in answer, can you have too many of each? I suppose you could. It's like anything else. You want people to be able to find things easily and without having too much extra thought. It's like filing cabinets, right? You want it to be not too deep, not too wide. So it depends, I guess, on what you're trying to do. All right. Here's a question by Steven. Why is Hover the registrar? So hover.com. I'm a huge fan of Hover, by the way. Why are they asking me to, quote, make an offer when I search for a domain? Why can't I just buy it outright like other domains? Well, easy answer on this one. It's just due to the fact that the domain is already registered. 99.9% of the time, it's been registered. It may or may not be a live site. It could just be parked. But Hover can't see that, or if they do see it, they don't tell you. But more often than not, they don't know what's behind it. They just know it's registered. So they want to engage with you to help you maybe bid for it and win it and host it with them as a registrar of record. And ideally, they're also going to take a cut of that auction. I think it's like a $30 fee or minimum $30, maybe just to put a bid in against it. And then there's a percentage of if you win it kind of thing. So that's why. They just don't know. They know it's registered. They don't know who has it, and they want to help you bid on it. So there you go. Another question here. Oh, another one by Shay. Shay has a couple questions. So is there any reason to use the other forms of the permalinks besides the name structure, like the date format or a number? I've always wondered why WordPress leaves those in there. So do I, honestly, Shay. Short answer, no. No other reason, for the most part. I always go with the post name. So I did some research on this as well for you. Back in the day, there was a theory that search engines liked the default query better than anything else, meaning that the URL plus the question mark and P plus the number, so question mark P123 would be like the first post, right? That it was in theory easier to index. Search engines would just be faster in indexing that versus an actual word or the name of the post. So, but it's not easier per se. What's been proven is that computer engines, they don't care. They just see all the content in any which way it's there, and they will index it. And this is true because there are billions of WordPress pages and websites and search engine crawls without it mattering really what is in that URL. So truthfully, what they have shown is that having a more readable URL is better because of human interaction, because people would copy and paste into a browser. And if you were trying to copy paste a long URL with some numbers, you might cut off a digit that was necessary to actually get to that page. So now this isn't to say that there isn't a need for custom structure in certain circumstances. But in the 10 years I've been doing this, I have really not ever needed to do one. I saw some at one point for some archival purposes for an educational resource center years ago, a long time ago. But your mileage may vary, and I have honestly never had to do one since that one time I saw it. I didn't create it. Someone else did. I, once again, inherited that site. So I'm not sure where that is now. So anyway, there you go. Any other questions? Oh, I thought I had one more in here. No, I don't have any more. That's it. So just those 4 questions. Okay, cool. No problem. Moving on to segment 3, the meat and potatoes Not many potatoes. Moving on to segment 3, the tip and tool of the week. I'm leaving that in there. This week's tip is a website called JSBin. JSBin is a code sharing site. It helps you complete the output of a code to be shared. There's a free level and a paid level. I found out about this recently, like in the last, was it a day or two ago? I was doing some support for a client. They had a MailChimp issue. The code wasn't rendering the JavaScript properly. So the support person at MailChimp, which was awesome, they used this. They sent me a link to JSBin with my code because my website was having some caching, or my computer was caching this in on through Chrome. So anyway, so JSBin, if I'm not mistaken, it's just literally over at, is it just jsbin.com? I will tell you right now. Hold on. Yes, jsbin.com. So like I said, free level, pay level. There's an HTML window, CSS, JavaScript, console, and output. You can do a lot of little tricky things in there. Kind of fun to see how things interact with some code. Check that out. I have no connection to them. Just check it out. All right. Well, that is it this week. If you have any questions, go ahead, send it in via email, adam@kitchensinkwp.com, or use the SpeakPipe function on the website. If you want to support the show, you can become a Patreon. If you want to sponsor the show, you can do that too. Still got to get those sponsors up on board here. I have 2 of them ready to go. Just been busy. So I have some coming. And thanks for listening. Go out and do some awesome things with WordPress. We'll see you next week. All right. Bye-bye.